do we're going to do a short guided meditation, and then we're going to sit in the silence during the meditation, and then afterwards we're going to have a little bit of discussion about it, just as Bobby said. So find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting in a chair, on the floor, a cushion. Just get comfortable. Close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And as you breathe, in the exhale, I want you to do a full body scan and just be aware of this moment, your body, how it feels, the space, how it feels. And with the exhale, I want you to release everything that came before this moment. Any busyness of the day, any travel, any traffic, tasks that haven't gotten done or need to be done, just let it all go. If it's something important that you need to do, you can pick that up later. But for now, let's just let all of that go. Continue to breathe in, breathe out. The more you exhale, relax more and more. Allow your body to relax into the seat or the cushion or the floor, whatever it is that you're sitting on. Allow your jaws and your facial muscles to relax, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your abdomen, your arms, your hands, your pelvis, your legs, your feet, your toes, your fingers. Relax more and more with each breath. And now I want you to just listen to these words. Breathing in, I am still. Breathing out, I breathe out all that is other than the spirit of it all. I breathe in the breath of transformation. It folds within me, unfurls, and stretches into the being who I am yet to be. I hear the words of life echoing through me, speaking the words I long so to hear. Within you lies opportunity to grow in spirit. Keep your feet on the earth, but lift your face towards the heavens. Surrender to the light with a tranquil mind and a heart full of love of God. Breathing in, I feel my dormant soul awakening, stirring into the awareness of life itself. As I breathe out, my breath stirs and moves all that there is, for I am indispensable to the whole. I am at peace. I am whole, and I belong. Continue breathing. And contemplate the idea. Breathing in, I feel my dormant soul awakening, stirring into the awareness of life itself. As I breathe out, my breath stirs and moves all that there is, for I am indispensable to the whole. What does it mean to you? How does that show up in your life? What does it look like for your dormant soul to awaken? And what does it feel like for your breath to stir and move all that there is? Contemplate this for a few minutes as you continue to breathe. Bring your focus back to your breath. Give thanks for what was given to you from your inner guidance. And fully come back. Just start to bring yourself back as you inhale and exhale. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Stretch if you need to. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So the statement, I feel my dormant soul awakening, staring into the awareness of life itself. As I breathe out, my breath stirs and moves all that there is, for I am indispensable to the whole. This past week, the talk that Petra did on Sunday, she talked about the states and stages of consciousness. Some people refer to it as the four kingdoms of consciousness. But ultimately, you have the life is happening to me, by me, through me, and then as me. And she talked about how we move through those four stages and states. And when we practice the science of mind teachings, when we do it consistently, we're able to live in stage three a lot more often. And we go back and forth between 3 and 4. Occasionally going back to 1 and 2, because we're human. But it's a lot easier to stay in 3 and 4 when we're practicing and we're more aware and conscious. But what I love about this statement is when it talks about it stirs and moves all that there is. It stirs and moves all that there is, which is, it speaks to the power that we have as creators and as co-creators with source energy. It allows us to be able to create from this space, whether it's we're speaking our word, we're thinking it, we're holding it in consciousness, we're breathing into it, we're breathing it out. It's all the same. And so it's a powerful practice to embody this statement and to live from this place. When we live from this place and move from this place through the world, when we're interacting with each other, we don't necessarily have to act from a place of fear or move from a place of fear when we take action. For example, I think on Sunday, she talked about, global warming and just the different things in society that's going on. When we know and embody that my breath stirs and moves all that there is, that feels different just hearing it out loud, and it feels different in my body. And so I'm more prone to take action and move from a place of spiritual truth, knowing that there is a power for good, I can use it. And that power for good is working for all of life too. And so not only am I able to make change or cause change, there are other people doing the same thing. And the more we get together who practice the teachings and the principles, we're able to shift it that much more quicker and efficiently. So yes, I want to start that for the conversation tonight. Do we have any questions, or let's see, TJ Woods has a hand raised.
Now can you hear me? Oh, there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, I love that whole piece right there because that's what really grabbed me. I mean, thinking that I am indispensable to the whole, from the whole. Um, where I am needing um something is because, like, even embedded in that sentence right there, I am indispensable to the whole, it's still, there's this separation. It's like the I is separate from the whole. And so in my mind, I I want the separationness to be gone. That feeling that when I use the word I and me and myself and um so I don't know. Can you help me out with this? Like, I know I'm a human being, and I know, I don't know.
You're saying that you still feel like you're separate, you're not a part of the whole? Is that, yeah, I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah, the words themselves, like when I heard that, I was like, oh my, I just kept repeating it, like in my mind, like I am indispensable to the whole, like really just grasping that. Can we get a copy of these meditations, by the way?
Sure. This
The,
actually is in the Journey to Awakening for this month. This is under week 2.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So if you don't have it, I can email it to you. If you put your email in the chat, I can email you a copy of it.
Yes, too. There was just such, yes, please. There was just such a sense of peace around that. But the words I and whole, they just kind of automatically like make me separate from the whole. And I
Well,
don't know how to wrap my mind around that.
so I understand what you're saying. I'm going to give some examples. So for when you think about a pie, and no, better yet, a cake. Let's talk about a cake. So there's individual ingredients in the cake, right? Uh,
Yes.
but put once they're together, they're still the cake. They're all the cake. The flour is the flour, though. The baking powder is the baking powder. The strawberries or whatever it is, the flavor you want to put in there, vanilla. They all have their individual essence, but they make up the cake as a whole.
Yeah.
Um, and then a better example probably is the ocean. What helps me is I view myself as a drop of water. God is
Yeah.
all of me. I'm not the whole ocean. I'm not the whole ocean of God, but God is all of me. Everything that's in the ocean is in that drop of water. I guess, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes. Okay. Yes, thank you very much. That's really good. And yeah, I've heard these examples before and I just it wasn't coming into my brain. So, yeah, yeah, that is beautiful. It's a great meditation. Thank you.
Thank you. One and something else that has helped me with that too, because I mean, again, as humans, it's so easy to look at separation or to believe in separation. Um,
Yes.
but to meditate on I am the I am presence. I am that I am, or um there's a meditation that I've done before, be still and know that I am God. And then be still and know, be still. Like I would drop off each word. And so each, by the time you get to be, it's like there's no personality, there's no body, it's just you're the I amness, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love it. Oh, that's
So
great.
yeah, that can definitely help to shift to the whole. Because when you think about just the way life works, if I go to nature, every part of life, it has a use. Um, there's, the circle of life, there's the web, the food web, like there's everything has a purpose. There's a reason for everything ultimately. For example, I always give this example. Our body excretes, what do you call it? Feces, or whatever toxins we don't need, our body lets that out. And then we could turn around and use that as fertilizer.
Yeah.
So it's like, really? But it's like there's a purpose for everything. There's nothing good or bad. It's just there's a purpose for it. Is it beneficial the way we're using whatever it is? I guess, does that make sense? And so
Yes.
we're a part of the whole. Um, we're needed because of our individual life experience, our individual personality, our individual, what we bring to the table. We bring something different. What I bring may be different from what you bring, what may be different from what Bobby brings, and anyone else. So yeah.
Yes, I've never
Well,
heard it put that way. I love that. We're needed because of our unique life experiences. That's so cool. Oh,
there are no
thank you.
two snowflakes alike.
And Reverend Patty
Oh,
would love for all of y'all to sign up for a home study group, which is where Faye got the reading from.
Yes.
If you're not in a home study group, you can sign up for a home study group in person or online. Contact Reverend Patty at Rev Patty Patti at CSLDallas.org.
Okay, I see the emails. I'll make sure I create an email to send that out to you all.
Any other comments or questions? Marjorie wants to know how many folks are on this call. Well, with Faye and I, there are 11.
Hi, Marjorie. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the whole and the importance of us showing up as our authentic selves. When I think about like fingerprints, like we all have different fingerprints. We all have, our voices are different. Like there's just a uniqueness to each of us. The other deal is we all view life differently. We have different perspectives. One of the things that I bring to the table is I'm very playful and I'm very curious. And so I make things very light and fun, whereas, someone else might bring to the table spontaneity or seriousness, and it's not like anything is good or bad, it's more, how does it all come together? How does it all work together? And so when we don't show up from the place knowing or believing and embodying that our breath stirs and moves all that there is, it's like we're shrinking. We're not allowing our full self to express. And the thing about spirit expressing in as and through all of life, like a rose, if you look at a rose is just going to grow, it's closed, and then it opens up, and it's like, it's beautiful. Not only that, it has a fragrance. And the way a rose smells does not smell the way a tulip smells. And it doesn't smell the way a lilac smells or sunflower. Like, they all are unique in their own right. And I don't have to argue one is beautiful, more beautiful than the other. They just stand alone. There's no need to compare them, and there's no need to argue that one is more beneficial. There's just a preference. I may prefer one over the other, and somebody else may prefer something else over another. But the thing is, if I think about a bouquet, I remember there's a quote that says, the difference between a weed and a flower is judgment. And it just took me back, because I remember like there was this bouquet, and I remember somebody explaining to me how some of the pieces in there were technically ruled as weeds. But it was like, put with all these other flowers, it was like, that doesn't look like a weed, that looks like a flower. But if it's like out in the field, somebody might be like, nope, that's a weed, and I don't want that in my yard, kind of thing. But to have them all together like a bouquet is just beautiful. And so when we honor that about ourselves, like how we express our bodies, whether, regardless of what our body looks like, our skin color, our hair, whatever that is, when we just honor and acknowledge and respect and love who we are, the more we do that and accept, then it invites us and enables us to be able to honor, respect, and accept other people and how they show up. And then we get to play more. We get to have more fun, because it's like, hey, I like that shirt, or I like your style, or I like, the way you sing, whatever it is. We're able to honor each other and have more fun and interact from a deeper level, because I feel more safe when there's acceptance.
So we're all part of the bouquet of humanity that is on the earth.
Yes, I love that. The bouquet of humanity. Yes. I love that. And again, like with that whole quote, the judgment, it's like, weeds, they're not necessarily ugly. They're not necessarily bad. The idea is just to figure out, how can I use this for my benefit, or for the benefit of all of life? And then
the sun shines on all, and the bees pollinate the weeds too. So the bees aren't judging them as good or bad. They're just pollinating.
Yes, that's a very good example. They go from flower to flower. So yes, I really love that bouquet of humanity.
Yeah.
The other deal she talked about on Sunday was how to get to stage 4, the as-me. And the as-me, it goes back to what I was saying earlier to TJ. Just practicing that stillness, that beingness, that I amness. because the essence, our true essence, is the essence of source energy. Like we are drops of water in the ocean of God. And so everything that God is, we are on a micro level. And so we have access to the same universal laws. We have access to
all the qualities of God,
yes,
because we are beings of light clothed in skin.
yes, yes. I've done a meditation where you know, you unzip the bodysuit and the light comes out. And so it's like, well, who would I be without this bodysuit? Would I show up differently if I took off the bodysuit? Or would I express the same? And so I started practicing and meditating, contemplating, okay, well, what is my true essence? How do I express what is my self-givingness? Like Ernest Holmes says that love is the self-givingness of life to itself. And so, you know, if God is love and God is expressing it as me, then I'm love. I'm that self-givingness too. So how can I give to life authentically as me? How can I show up and be that self-givingness? And so I have infinite ways, just like the divine has infinite ways. We all have infinite ways, and some come easier than others. But it helps to get really, really clear on what our default ways are. Like I said, one of mine is playfulness and curiosity, or two, playfulness and curiosity. I also bring a calmness, because I'm very grounded. I like being in nature and just hugging trees, all of that stuff. So those are different ways that I show up. And so we each have our unique ways of showing up. We have our unique ways of looking at life that benefits others when we're in conversation, when we're in interaction with different people, which again goes back to the whole. The other deal that's coming to mind is in reference to the whole. So you have our individual consciousness, and then you have the collective God consciousness. What we learn when we learn and expand our consciousness, we also expand the God consciousness because we're a part of the whole. And so one of my ministries that I'm stepping into is expanding and raising the consciousness within the African American community, because with all the facing racism and all the work that's being done about shifting consciousness around that, for me, what I noticed is, okay, well, everybody's doing work as far as the other nationalities on how to shift race consciousness. But in the African American community, I was like, well, we have work to do ourselves in regard to how we view ourselves, and whether we believed and bought into the story that we were told by way of slavery or the media, whatever, all that stuff. None of that stuff doesn't matter. If we're looking at spiritual principles, we don't have to be bound by any of that stuff. And so for me, the more I work on my consciousness and raise my own consciousness and expand it, and then I interact with other people within our community, that adds to the collective God consciousness around it, which will in the end help shift and change, you know, racism or eliminate it completely. So but yeah, it's very important that we each allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to be our unique selves, to be our authentic selves, and honor how we show up. Whether it's, I know I can be goofy, I can be a little spacey sometimes. I have a lot of different things, and it's like, you know what? Okay, that's me. It's all good. So, um, are there any? Okay,
TJ has another question, I believe.
okay.
Yeah, I have a question, but what you just said, I'm tying that back to like your goofiness is like tying it back to using. I mean, I don't know how to use it as another example, but okay. So earlier you were talking about how our poop can become fertilizer and it's benefiting something, and so it's like that aspect of you that can be goofy sometimes is doing something for somebody when you bring it out. You
Right.
know, it's yeah. So that is a beautiful thing there. But I want to ask about I I know that my own personal human the limits of my consciousness like where they are right now can always be expanding, but the God consciousness is like it's already like complete. It's already expanded. It's already all it can be, right? So can the God consciousness actually expand, or is it the collective consciousness that expands? Or, I mean, how does that work?
It's the collective consciousness. So I get what you're saying. So here's the deal. You have the collective consciousness, and that's going to expand. The God consciousness, how can I explain this without confusing myself?
It's the words. We don't have the words.
Well, right. That's the other deal. There are no words to really convey. Um, because the thing is, to say that God is complete is to say that there's nothing else, I guess. Does that make sense? And life continues to go on and on and on and on and on. Like now we're moving into the age of artificial intelligence, or we've been here for a while and we don't know where that's going. So
Mhm.
it's constantly expanding. Like if you think of the spiral dynamics, the spiral going up and it's going out. And so for me, I don't see how God can be complete in that sense. Like there's a completeness just because of the whole. And at the same time, like there's the paradox. And at the same time,
Yeah.
life is evolving. Like if you look at the teaching symbol, like the V in the middle, the one side is involution and the other side is evolution. And so the involution is where you have the thought, it comes down into the soil, and then you have the manifestation at the bottom. And then it's like, okay, how did that work out? I manifested this. Did I like it? Did I not? So the evolution part is you contemplating, did this go the way that I planned for it to go? Or do I need to change my thought? Do I need to create something different? Or do I need to create some more? Or do I just need to do this again? And then you do the cycle all over again. With the V. I guess, does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I completely understand what you're saying, but I'm thinking like kind of like electricity. It's like it was already here. It was
Yes.
here back for whenever. It's just
Right.
like now we have awareness of it. Now we have our human consciousness of it. But
Well, and that's the deal. But it's like we're here because God, this is how God experiences itself. It can't
Mhm.
be aware of itself or experience what a strawberry tastes like or experience what a rose feels and smells like if it's not in the physical form. I guess, does that make sense?
Yes,
And
yes.
so because we go through whatever it is we experience here on the earth, God gets to experience that, whether it's a child dying or a parent dying or having a health issue and needing to heal that. Like, God gets to experience all of that by way of us. And so that's where, to me, there's the freedom or whatever, because we get to choose those experiences. Well, and I say that roughly, because
Yeah.
they're
Because
not
our
all
choices
chosen.
are influenced by the collective consciousness too. We're not just we're not just ruling everything. We're not the universe. So
Right, right. Somebody, Brenda, she said all of everything is already here and there is infinite possibilities for expression. Exactly. Like there is both. Like God is complete. I agree
Yes.
wholeheartedly. And at the same time, like the evolution of God as us is working in progress.
well,
But
and
we
as far as
Yeah.
the teaching symbol goes too, I mean, it's drawn within a circle, but the outside of the circle isn't actually there because God is not contained. God is
right,
everything.
right,
Yeah.
right,
God is consciousness, whose center is everywhere and circumference is nowhere.
exactly.
Yeah, that's so cool to think about that. I love that what Brenda put there and how you're tying all this together. It's yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I appreciate you all again joining. This has been very lovely and very rich. We will be back again here next week, but Petra will be here, I believe, doing the online meditation. So I look forward to seeing some of you in person if you're here in Dallas. And hold on, let me get these emails before you end the chat. I want to make sure I get these emails out of here to send. Okay, I have them. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your week and peace and blessings.
Thank you, Faye. Have a good night.
Thanks,
All right, good
Faye.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.